Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. So recently, if you watch the live streams on here or watched my articles on Mopar Insiders, we've been talking a lot about Jeep Europe. Now back in January, I discussed how Jeep Europe's lineup was going to get a major overhaul for 2026. Back then, we talked about how the new WagoneerS was ultimately going to replace the Grand Cherokee in the European lineup, and it honestly made perfect sense. So even though the WagoneerS is slightly smaller, it's considered a D segment vehicle, while the Grand Cherokee sits in the E segment. Over in Europe, roads are tighter, parking's more limited, and bigger SUVs don't move as well in sales. Plus, the WagoneerS being fully electric gives it a massive advantage over the Grand Cherokee, which is only offered as a 4xe plug-in hybrid over there. So with emission standards getting stricter across the EU, despite pushback from some countries, it's clear why Jeep made that move. Now, another big factor we mentioned earlier this year was cost. Since the WagoneerS is built in Mexico at the Toluca assembly plant, it's cheaper for Stellantis to ship to Europe than the American-built Grand Cherokee coming from Detroit. That keeps pricing more competitive for the brand while avoiding some of those heavier tariffs. But the Grand Cherokee isn't the only nameplate on the chopping block for Europe. At that time, we talked about the Jeep Wrangler. And now, today, later on Mopar Insiders, you'll be seeing this article here, which confirms that the Jeep Wrangler will be discontinued after this year. So Jeep will stop taking orders for the Wrangler by the end of the year, with the final models being delivered in the first half of 2026. So yeah, that's right, the Wrangler is basically discontinued in Europe, and it will be replaced by the all-electric, all-new Jeep Recon. Now, Marco Montepeloso, head of Jeep Europe product planning, explained the new regulations are a major reason behind the decision. He said that there are several regulations that are affecting the compatibility of the Wrangler with the European region, like the safety regulation that's coming in mid-2026 that needs some additional features that will be hard to implement in the Wrangler. Now, Jeep already made some safety upgrades to the Wrangler last year. They added things like rock rails for better side protection and advanced driver assistance systems such as drowsy driver detection, but Montepeloso admitted that it's still not enough. He said it would be really complex to make the Wrangler comply with the new regulations, adding that Jeep would be, quote, forced to rethink completely the concept of Wranglers if they wanted to meet those standards. And then, of course, you have emissions. They're always at play, but it plays a major role here, too. The 2-liter turbocharged GME T4 4-cylinder gas engine sold in Europe produces up to 269 grams per kiloliter of CO2, which is almost as much as a twin-turbo V8 Range Rover Sport. So for Jeep, that simply doesn't make sense in Europe anymore. Plus, here's the good news. Jeep isn't abandoning the off-road crowd. The all-new Recon is set to be the brand's most capable electric SUV yet, and it's set to arrive in Europe in 2026. Now, Montepeloso confirmed it will be fully electric and said it will have a modern urban-friendly design, but quickly added that it will be extremely capable. And again, we're going to be getting the Recon starting next month in November. Now, he also reassured fans that the Jeep lineup in Europe is evolving and not shrinking. He goes, we are bringing really big relevant models to Europe, the Avenger, the new Compass J4U, the WagoneerS, and the Recon. So, while it's definitely an end of an era for Wrangler in Europe, the brand's legendary off-road spirit isn't going anywhere, and it's just evolving. But the Wrangler's DNA will live on through the Recon, and it'll be fascinating to see how it translates its rugged history into an all-electric future for this kind of particular model in Europe. So tell me what you guys think. Will the Recon be a worthy successor for the Wrangler in Europe? Let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.